Shedeur Sanders at Apple Music. People might be confused. Did you get lost on your way to the ESPYs, or you got a song for us?
No, I came here intentionally. This was a stop on the way. I'm standing on business. Best qualities, I'm always smiling. Yeah, I'm always smiling, that's for sure. I'm heavily involved in the business. I have a vision, and I like to see it be achieved. My purpose and my vision is to be in position to have all the resources.
Once again, Shedeur Sanders has succeeded. Shedeur reportedly inked a huge $13 million deal with Apple Music for his upcoming album. Just when you thought this offseason couldn't get any more crazy, you heard correctly. The same man who has been making headlines for his NFL career is now entering the music business. Additionally, he is reportedly receiving substantial financial support from Apple Music. Sources claim Shedeur has secured a deal worth about $13 million linked to his new album, though the details of the agreement have not yet been made public. And to be honest, is anyone still shocked at this point? Shedeur has been extremely successful in his business endeavors just this off-season. There seems to be a new partnership, deal, or headline every other week that makes you question whether this man ever gets any sleep. He has now expanded his list of qualifications to include music mogul. According to reports, Shedeur discussed his music, the album's inspiration, and the creative process in an interview with Apple Music. According to reports, he talked about wanting to use his platform to engage people more deeply by fusing his experiences on and off the field, his faith, and his personal journey into something that fans could truly relate to. Whether you're a football fan or not, there's something fascinating about an athlete using his power to venture into a completely different creative field while still building his financial empire in the background. Give it some thought. With the exception of occasional endorsement deals, the majority of NFL players are only concerned with their playing careers. Shedeur is currently signing multi-million-dollar contracts with streaming services for an album that most people were unaware would be released. This level of business thinking is entirely different. He is no longer merely an athlete.
Whenever I sat down and I thought about the song and I thought about everything, I think this feeling and the impact that this will have to other people that's going through different things, but the same feeling, I think they'll be able to gravitate towards that and they'll be able to relate, I think.
He's developing into a full-fledged brand that concurrently encompasses fashion, sports, and music. This Apple Music agreement is reportedly just the most recent piece to fall in what is expected to be one of the busiest off-seasons for any young athlete in history. Because let's not overlook all of Shedeur's prior accomplishments prior to the announcement of Apple Music. According to reports, Shedeur and his brother Shiloh recently inked an $80 million contract with the high-end fashion label Amiri. This wasn't a simple endorsement in which they simply wore the clothing and shared a photo. According to reports, both brothers walked Parisian runways, entering the world of high fashion in a manner that most athletes are never able to. Shedeur's enormous influence within the American Black community, which positioned him as someone who could bridge the gap between luxury fashion and street culture, is reportedly the reason Amiri specifically wanted him. Shedeur provided the kind of cultural relevance that brands are craving. Prior to that, there was the Gatorade incident, which in all honesty may have been one of the most astute business decisions made in recent memory. According to reports, Gatorade offered Shedeur $60 million spread over 3 years in exchange for an endorsement contract. For the majority of athletes, that is immediately final. There you have it, generational wealth. However, Shedeur allegedly rearranged the transaction to obtain 3% ownership in the USA rather than accepting the guaranteed check. Give that some thought. He declined guaranteed money in exchange for stock in one of the world's biggest beverage corporations. Even a small ownership stake in Gatorade could result in Shedeur receiving checks for decades, given the company's annual revenue of billions. It's not about making quick cash. The goal here is to create something that will endure for many generations.
Viral, but not for football, but for how he structured his contract. He had an equity clause in his deal with Gatorade. That clause basically said, I'm not just here as a name or a body. I want part of what's being built off of me. I want ownership in the outcome. So that clause essentially just preserved his interest. And he didn't walk away with just a one-time check. He walked away with his corrected status in the contract, and he claimed his equity.
And then there's the agreement that initiated it all. The one that, before Shedeur played a single professional snap, had the whole sports world in a frenzy. Before he ever set foot on an NFL field, he reportedly signed a contract worth $125 million. People had doubts. Without demonstrating his abilities in the workplace, analysts questioned whether he was worthy of that amount of money. But the noise didn't concern Shedeur. The brands lining up to collaborate with him were obviously aware of his worth. Then the situation worsened even more. According to reports, Nike activated a clause in Shedeur's contract that instantly doubled its value the moment he took the field for his first preseason game, increasing his earnings to about $250 million over 4 years. Furthermore, he allegedly obtained a 50% share of his jersey sales, which is practically unheard of for any athlete, much less a rookie. When was the last time you heard of a player selling half of all jerseys bearing his name?
Shedeur Sanders has sold the most amount of jerseys out of any rookie this year, and 75,000 jerseys to match his NFL contract. Sometimes the brand is bigger than the draft position.
In comparison to his peers, this alone placed him in a totally different financial category. Despite not being selected as high in the draft as many had anticipated, Shedeur reportedly outperformed other highly regarded prospects like Cam Ward and Travis Hunter in terms of earnings and business moves. That sums up this young man's business acumen perfectly. Your ceiling is obviously not defined by your draft position. It matters just as much, if not more, how you use your reputation, your timing, and your bargaining power. According to reports, Shedeur has been steadily accumulating a whole portfolio of ventures in addition to the large contracts. He has partnered with EA Sports for gaming content, started his own clothing line, introduced a signature barbecue sauce brand connected to his family's Southern heritage, and reportedly partnered with Brady, Tom Brady's wellness and clothing company. Each and every one of these strategic actions has increased his reach across various industries and demographics. The clothing line appeals to his younger fan base. The barbecue sauce relates to his family history. The Brady partnership pairs him with one of the greatest quarterbacks in history, and the EA Sports partnership keeps him relevant to gamers. Music executives can now be added to that list. Shedeur isn't content to stay in one lane, as evidenced by this Apple Music deal. Sports, fashion, food, gaming, and now music are all part of his empire. The fact that he is using his platform to genuinely connect with people rather than just make money adds even more intrigue. He reportedly mentioned that he wanted his album to represent actual experiences when speaking with Apple Music. Rather than merely using his football fame for a short-term project, these are things that people can truly relate to. He has been able to gain the trust of fans in every industry he has entered, thanks to his authenticity. Observing how each of these transactions influences the next is fascinating. His national profile was raised by the Nike deal. His long-term financial planning was demonstrated by the Gatorade equity move. His reach into international markets in high fashion was increased by the Amiri partnership. Additionally, the Apple Music deal solidifies his reputation in popular culture and opens up a whole new creative avenue. It's not arbitrary. It's calculated and effective. It's safe to say that Shedeur Sanders is currently redefining what it means to be a contemporary athlete. He does more than just play football and get paid. It's possible that the diverse empire he's creating will outlive his playing career by several decades. For someone who is still in the early stages of his career, the reported earnings from his NFL contract, the Gatorade equity, the Amiri partnership, and now this Apple Music deal are almost too much to handle. What are your thoughts on Shedeur's alleged $13 million contract with Apple Music? Is he about to embark on an even more ambitious musical career? Or is this just another aspect of his expanding business empire? With the way Shedeur has been moving lately, this won't be the last headline he makes this offseason. So let me know what you think in the comments section below, and stay tuned.